What's going on, everybody? Good morning. Welcome to our morning note. It is 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, July 28th, 2020. This is G.A.R Capital YouTube channel. Let's start by making sure you subscribe, bottom right-hand button of your screen. Make sure to hit that like button, subscribe, comment. We do appreciate it as always. Right around 38, 37 in subs now. We're getting closer to that 4,000, so we could do a live trading session with me. So make sure, like and subscribe our videos. Really appreciate the support as always. We do this for you. All this information, of course, is free to you as long as you're a subscriber. Press the search button, G.A.R Capital. We're here to help, man. Appreciate that as always. All right, so let's go ahead and talk about market, shall we? Let's go and check on futures. Dow futures are down 95 points. Nasdaq futures down 38, about 0.36%. E-mini futures down about 9.5 handles, 0.29%. Russell 2000 index down about 0.36. Crude oil futures down 1%. Bitcoin futures are up above 11,000, 1.65%. Gold bouncing back off a little bit of a flush overnight, 0.20% at 1934 an ounce. Silver pulling back after that strong run overnight, 24.14, down 1.45% on futures. VIX up about 2.7% at 25.41, still below that 30 handle. Dollar index is up slightly. That's why the commodities are down. I'll go and explain that here in a second. Up at 93.71, and a dollar yen, 105.07, still down 30 pips, and euro dollar still down about 17 here, 117 after that big hit. I believe the resistance level was around 118 and a little bit of a flush. So if you've been kind of sticking with what we've been watching, obviously gold and silver, the commodities, and what has been moving, it's been really based on the dollar. So the dollar going down due to this more stimulus talk. I'll give you some more headlines on those. As the dollar keeps continuing to fall, commodities based on that dollar are going to rise. That's why you saw Bitcoin go up. That's why you saw gold go up. That's why you saw silver go up. That's why you saw the forex pairs like dollar yen go down and euro dollar soar. So again, this is all based on the dollar. The dollar has declined for 7 straight sessions. I'm still bullish on gold. I'm still bullish on silver. We played gold and silver yesterday. We caught them for signals. I'm personally still holding some contracts. So nothing has really changed in my mind here. If you want to take a look at the charts with me, you could see that silver is bouncing. SLV is bouncing off that 50, and GLD is also bouncing off that 50. The December contracts for gold, which is the end of the year contracts, probably the more heavily traded other than August, hit 2,000 to the T, 2,000 an ounce, and then fell. So again, we hit 1974 on the August contracts. We pulled back slightly. We're at 1936. I think it may be a time to maybe reload. If you want to take a look at for some next week, I still like this bullish run on silver and gold. So again, I'm still rocking with it. The government is still, the Senate GOP is still working on a stimulus plan. The Democrats want a little more. I'm going to give you the details here in a second on that stimulus plan and see where they are. So let's go ahead and go over some headlines, and I'll go ahead and talk about that stimulus. Alphabet shares worth 2,000 on some of its parts. Some meaning total, says JP Morgan. Just a heads up. Uh, Google does report this week. The dollar index has declined yesterday for the seventh day in a row. This is according to Charlie Bilello at his lowest level since September 2018. Let's see what other headlines here. McDonald's also reported. Let me get you that information here. Let me give you the McDonald's update. McDonald's revenue, 3.76% in revenue, billion beat. Comp store sales were missed, minus 8.7% versus minus 8.4%. Comp sales were down as well, down 23.9%, missing estimates. Adjusted EPS, 66 cents versus the estimate of 74 cents. That's why McDonald's is down. I'll go ahead and show you the chart here. We did play it yesterday. We played the 210s, and I'm glad we got out because we got 40% within a minute. It was a demand spike when we got in, and it soared, and we got out. I got out for 40. I did not even play the earnings. I closed out completely. I left a runner. It closed at break even. So I'm glad what we did because those 210 calls are probably done. So again, we played it nicely. Again, I still like it longer term. I still think we get a little more of a little more of a run. 197.18 for a break could be interesting for a buy, obviously, but not at this moment. Maybe wait for the 190 level. That'll break the 200 day. Those ascending triangles do look nice. It did break on Monday, but with earnings as the catalyst, it did bring it down. Raytheon reported earnings as well. Revenue did beat 14.1 billion versus 13.48 billion. Adjusted EPS did beat 40 cents against the estimate of 13 cents. Pfizer green pre-market revenue 11.8 billion versus the estimate 11.73 billion. Adjusted EPS beats 78 cents versus 69 cents. They raised their 2020 financial guidance. Sees fiscal year adjusted EPS $2.85 to $2.95 per share versus the previous 2.82 versus 2.92. Sees fiscal year revenue 48.6 billion to 50.6 billion. Previous guidance saw 48.5 to 50.5. So a nice little beat there by Pfizer. I do own Pfizer as well. They are up pre-market 38.55, basically a dollar pre-market. We did hit a high of 39.50 in the pre-market session, but now I pulled back a little bit, about a dollar. So again, I still like Pfizer, still own it. I do not plan to buy anymore. Quick one from my dividend investors, pretty good one here. Altria Group, again, the tobacco company, revenue excluding excise taxes, 5.06 billion, estimate of 5.11 billion. Adjusted EPS is of $1.09, estimate of $1.07. So they beat on adjusted EPS. They boost their dividend. They see their fiscal year adjusted EPS 421 to 4.3 billion. Previous saw 4.31 $4.31, excuse me. Their adjusted EPS $4.21 to $4.38. They announced a IQOS expansion plans. Let me take a look at MO. Good news on that. It is a breakout. Usually don't get a lot of options there, but it could be interesting on MO. Let's take a look at that. Nice breakout on the 1 hour chart. Wait for the open. You could get some profit taking on that name. So again, just wait on Altria. But again, that dividend boost is a nice little note there. Okay, so what we're getting here on this little pullback is the fact of the stimulus plan. So Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell unveiled the Republican coronavirus virus relief plan Monday after the bell. The legislation would include relief for jobless Americans, another direct payment to individuals for $1,200, more paycheck protection program for small business, among other provisions. McConnell said that the bill would set the federal unemployment insurance at 70% of previous workers' wages, replacing the $600 a week that we had before, which states stopped paying out this week. Quote, the cutting of the unemployment benefits is setting us up for a political battle that could take some time, says Peter Carrillo, chief market economist, excuse me, at Spartan Capital Securities. So the Democrats, Chuck Schumer says they are far apart on this. I'm going to go and give you that quote here. Chuck Schumer says, we're currently pretty far apart on the COVID-19 stimulus discussions. Again, that's just the Republican plan. The Democrats do have to agree in order to get passed, and it's signed by the president. Schumer also says, however, we do remain optimistic we will find stimulus solution. August 14th is the date of the recess for Congress. After August 14th, they're basically done in a sense. There's a recess, and then they're just going to go campaigning for the re-election or elections. So if they don't get the stimulus plan done by August 14th, that is literally the last minute, the 11th hour they could do it. And if that doesn't happen, no one's getting their money. No one's going to get a $1,200 stimulus and no more PPP, nothing. Markets may pull back on that. It would be probably stronger for the dollar, but other than that, I think that we still get it passed. It's too much political pressure on anyone that's an incumbent or seeking re-election because it has to get passed. A lot of people are still hurting out there. So that's where we are in the news front. Let's go ahead and answer some questions here and see where we are. Good morning. Tyler asked about Facebook running into earnings. Let's go and take a look at it. Facebook right here, pretty much just chopped. I have an alert at 245.01 for a breakout, 225.18 for a pull down. I would not touch it, to be honest with you. You're pretty much staying in that range on Facebook, so I would skip that one. What do I think about TLT? TLT is a 20-year bond fund, and it is doing pretty well. I have not checked bonds today. I'll go and check it out for you guys. I knew I forgot something. So let's go ahead and go back to CNBC on my other monitor. Home prices rose at a slower rate in May, according to S&P Case-Shiller. Just a heads up. Just got that news here. 10-year bond yields, meaning bond prices go up, down 19 basis points at 0.59%. You are seeing a nice rise on TLT, but in order to play TLT, I'm going to need a breakout 170.45 to the upside. You are seeing demand on these bonds. There was a 5-year note auction that had a lot of demand. Yield rate was very low. So TLT looks very nice. I like it, but just break 170.45 first. What do you think about stuck at MCD call at 205? If I were to you on MCD, right now you're at 198.33. We could bounce back to 200. If you do, hold on to it. Just kind of give yourself a couple of minutes. If it breaks 197.18, 197.18, pull the ripcord, close that position on MCD. Until then, I'd hold it. 205 isn't terrible. If you break 201, 202, you may be able to establish something out of it. Christian asks, "Good morning, Carlos. What are your thoughts on UDN calls for December and the value of the dollar dropping?" UDN would be the dollar, kind of a dollar. I think it's a dollar index ETF. I believe I do not trade that honestly. If you are playing it, I just think gold would be your better move. Personally, you could see on the hourly it did bounce back overnight. Like that's what we talked about. I think gold would be the better move for December instead of the dollar. I think you're better off just playing gold and silver personally. But again, if you're playing the bearish fund, again, this would be the UDN, the dollar index bearish fund. I can understand where you're coming from, playing the inverse here, but I just prefer. I don't think they have a lot of volume. Gold, you're seeing volume, and silver, you're seeing volume. Let's not try to reinvent the wheel here. I would say stick with what works. Can McDonald break 200 this week after missing EPS? Absolutely, it can. Absolutely can. Vic saying AMD puts. I'm not playing that. They have earnings today, so you have to be extremely careful on AMD. I think they'll have a great report. I think there'll be some profit taking. I think they'll pull back, but it's not enough in order to play puts and put your hard-earned money to work. If you break 64.86 today, then puts would be in play. If you break 61.33, 61, 71.63, the upside, the peak, then you could play calls. But I'd rather just wait for the report. Let's not play a lotto here and play earnings. AMD has soared. Again, it's due for a pullback. Run out of sometimes it just takes a breather. Gold had that, Bitcoin had that, silver had that. We've seen these kind of Tesla had that, Amazon has had that. Any kind of big parabolic move, you always get a slight pullback. Thoughts on an SLB pullback? The pullback basically is in some profit taking and the dollar boosting slightly. I'm still bullish on silver. I'm still bullish on gold. Nothing has changed. It really just happened overnight. I think silver actually will close green today. Good morning, Baba. Pietro's asking. Baba, I do like, but I need a break of 263.31 to the upside. President Investment, I think they're actually a wonderful company. 263.31 is the upside break. 231.14 is the downside break. If you break 231, I would probably take a look at adding some more shares. What about CAT approaching 140.90 resistance? Yeah, it looks very interesting. Do need that break. That looks very nice, very bullish. So again, let's wait for that break in order to play it. Again, a weaker dollar helps these international companies that do business overseas. So again, a Caterpillar will definitely benefit from a weaker dollar. Space. Let's look at space together. Space, I do have some calls, and it is basically flat pre-market at 24.85. You just need to get to above that hump of 27.55. I have an alert at 28.78. I have the 27 calls. I think we get them this week. Let's see if we get that push. Carlos, what do you think about MMM stock? 3M is materials. They did report earnings. I think there's better ways for you to use your money. If you just want the dividend, I just mentioned Altria. But again, 3M, I think you'll probably get some rotation in materials down the line. Obviously, if we recover from the post-COVID stuff, but right here, I wouldn't buy it. I wouldn't touch it here. It's pretty much range bound, not much going on here. How's FedEx looking? Let's go and take a look at FedEx. FedEx is looking decent. I went ahead and tweeted about that unusual options activity at 170. The bid is at 169.75. The ask is at 171.69. We're still in the money. I think we still get that break. I still will get that continuation. FedEx to me is a winner. I still have those 170 calls, and I'll be riding them until I make profit on it. Well, I'm still profitable. Thoughts on Apple? Call then pull out before earnings. I would buy Amazon before or after earnings. Too expensive on Amazon. Skip it. Apple, I can see where you're coming from, but you can see the pullback on the Nasdaq. I would just wait until earnings. Just wait. That's your best bet. You see this nice little fall here from Friday, and then a nice pullback, pushback today. We're still not even above the 200-day, which is 384.30. I would just wait on it. Intel, nope, I would stay away from Intel unless you really want the dividend. I don't even see it's worth a value play here. AMD, Nvidia are your better plays for chips. Only two I'd play. The only other chip maker I'd buy because due to 5G is Qualcomm. But when it comes to the semiconductor space, you only want Nvidia and you only want AMD. Intel, I'm not touching. BA bumping to 170. BA is at 168.90. I'm pretty bearish on the name. I own the stock, but again, they report earnings tomorrow. So I'm a little hesitant on it. I think it's going to get weaker, but I'm not playing puts on it. Not risking the money there. Is Wells Fargo poised to bounce after a hard drop yesterday? Financials dropped yesterday, to be honest with you. You're talking about WFC. WFC to me is probably the worst bank out there. I have no reason to want to even play that stock or even take a look at it personally. Short on BA, it's not worth it ahead of earnings. Not worth it. So wait till earnings and then you can see what you could do. Pfizer going up today. Pfizer is up. I like the name. I love the name. But when it comes to options, it's kind of a tricky one. I do like this bull run here up to the top here from the 9th of July. I think we get to 40. But again, I would not play options on it. If you had to play options on it, play for next week or take a look at the volume on it. All right, guys, we'll go and leave it there. Make sure to hit that like and subscribe button. Really do appreciate it. We'll catch you guys tomorrow for the morning note. G.A.R Capital, FX.com is our website. And thank you so much. Have a great Tuesday. We'll catch you tomorrow and have a happy day trading, guys.